Hey guys, what's going on? It's Bacon. Welcome back to another Elestrals Moonrise reveal reaction video. A couple of things I want to say before we get into this one. And actually, by a couple of things, I mean one thing I want to say. I don't know if this has been happening for every single video, but I've just noticed it myself. The lighting for the face cam seems very, very bad right now. I don't know why, because the room that I'm in, the lighting looks fine, and I don't have any way to adjust the lighting myself, so I apologize for some poor lighting, but that's all we have. Joblin has arrived, revealing High Tide and 4 new Elestrals. So, a couple things to note about this. I think this is going to be a water episode, and a couple of other things. One other thing I want to note is that High Tide is actually a titled version of Tsunami. We actually had this got revealed to us in a short that Elestrals posted at one point. They never revealed the effect. They just teased that it was coming, and they told us the name of the card, and I think they may have showed part of the art. But now we actually know what this card is going to do. So without further ado, let's get straight on to the actual card itself.
The relationship between the moon and our oceans is one that cannot be understated as we break down 32 days until Moonrise pre-orders open on November 15th. Watercasters, I hope you're ready.
This is the water episode. All right. So real quick, I want to talk about some of the things I said. I talked about fire the last time. I want to talk about a little bit about water's weaknesses and benefits and stuff like that. Water is actually currently in a very, very good spot. The thing about water that's very, very interesting is water has constantly had all their little guys are insane, but their big guys lack. So, for example, in base set, they only played with, like, Galaxy was like their big guy. That was like the big guy. There was no 2 drops or 3 drops that were worth playing. Majesty was not worth playing in the slightest. However, in Frostfall, that changed slightly because we got Lakagon. Now, Lakagon was played, but it was sort of begrudgingly people accepted it. It was like, it's good enough, but I'd rather not play it. So a lot of people chose to not play it outright, and a lot of people did choose to play it. That being said, Lakagon was a fine deck for the most part, though. That was not really a part of the deck that mattered all that much. That all changed when Daybreak came out, and we got Curibus and Chronodile, 2 very, very powerful water cards. However, they themselves also have some very interesting downsides to them. So Curibus itself is not honestly the best card in the world. It can do some really, really cool stuff, but the fact to get its effect off, it disenchant 2 water, it's a very expensive card. Chronodile is the exact same way. You have to have 6 enchanting spirits on your board that are water or solar in order to get its protection effect. And that is very, very hard to accomplish in some ways. For the most part, water is still basically playing Water Nexus and then eventually hitting a Chronodile at the very end of the turn to go in for a boatload of damage. That's basically the idea currently with that deck. So we'll see if we get either more little guys or if we get a big guy that is worth turboing out. Alongside, obviously,
big shout out to everybody who's been backing us on Kickstarter. Don't forget these reveals come one day early on Kickstarter if you're a backer, but we've got a ton to cover today, so let's dive in. A big theme of Daybreak was Jason and the Argonauts traveling to obtain the Golden Fleece, and along the way, faced up against Rock and a Hard Place, the incredibly powerful Water Elestral Eddie and Curibus, and of course, through Shattered Stars, you will reveal Drakid and Draking, both of which are returning in Moonrise as their official debut. Drakid, Draking, and of course Reverse Stellar Draking and Full Art Stellar Draking are available in Shattered Stars Month 8 Lunar, so if you want to pull one of those epic Stellars, don't forget to do that, but again, you'll be able to pull them in Moonrise. These 2 Elestrals pair incredibly well with Rock and a Hard Place and are sure to make a continued impact in Moonrise, but we've got some more support for this particular deck that I think is going to blow you away. The first new card reveal for today is none other than Snark. Snark is just a happy little...
So, another thing I want to point out, A-Drive did tweet out, today is the day you all learn, so for Clash backers, today's the day you all learn about Eddie's new best friend. So we had Eddie, now we have Snark. All right, let's go.
Little guy, he's a 3 attacker, 3 defense with 1 water spirit. And when you cast this Snark, you can search your deck for a card with enchantment cost, water, and lunar, and add it to your hand. So
it searches Rock in a Hard Place. Well, there you go. You have your searcher now for the removal card.
Any card that has the enchantment cost water and lunar, or lunar and water,
it can also search
you can add it to your hand. And you might be able to figure out that means you can search Draking right to your hand. That also means you can search Rock in a Hard Place right to your hand. Snark is going to be a huge piece for this particular deck, allowing it to operate with more consistency than ever before in Moonrise. I'm very excited for this little guy. And Snark is not done because it ascends into the almighty powerful Joblin. Joblin is a water and lunar Elestral, also searchable by Snark, with 8 attack and 4 defense with a super cool effect. You can expend a water spirit in order to change the position of an Elestral that is not water enchanted. So much like Tsunami, you can change the position of an Elestral on the
So that is Sorlet, but water. That is literally Sorlet's effect, but water.
Field. It could be yours, it could be your opponent's, and it's not a target. When one or more Elestrals change their positions, you can draw a card. So if you play Tsunami and your opponent is forced to switch their...
I'm not gonna lie, this is nice. This is really, really nice. So the one thing I'm kind of interested in is this Snark, weirdly enough, does not have an effect to ascend in the Joblin when you cast Rock in a Hard Place. That does not exist on Snark. Joblin, though, is interesting. So we've kind of already learned 2-cost Elestrals are not actually at nearly... Sorry about that. They're not nearly as hard to summon in Daybreak as they were in like base set and to a certain extent Frostfall. They're not nearly as hard, especially with the limiting of Lavalith, Resting, and EQ. They're a lot better to go into now. This is an 8 attacker that has a Sorlet effect and can draw you a card. We've already learned actually changing the positions of Elestrals is actually very powerful in this game because most cards, including Joblin, they have a big attack, but they don't have a massive defense. Joblin at 4 defense isn't like, it's not too shabby, but it can be attacked over. This card is very interesting. I do think Water will play it because they are very adept at changing positions. They have Tsunami, they have Eddy, they obviously have this card now. There's a lot of things that they can do, and if you are playing a Water Nexus kind of form, you also have Altar of Stars with your Poseidons to just go even further with that. This card, I think, is very, very powerful and will be seen play in water decks.
Position, you can draw. If you expend a Water Spirit and change the position of Elestral on the field, you can draw a card. If you change an Elestral's position just by changing them from attack to defense, you can draw a card. Absolutely.
Should also be noted, the second effect is not a once per turn. All right? Not once per turn, so if you can proc that multiple times, oh boy, you're drawing a bunch.
Absolutely nuts. Joblin provides a new draw engine for water decks and for water and lunar decks, and again, it's searchable through Snark with an incredible...
I don't think lunar decks are going to be playing this. I do think this is a water exclusive deck, if I'm being entirely honest. I highly doubt... I don't think lunar's going to play it because the effect specifies... I voice cracked. Holy crap, that was bad. The effect specifies that you have to expend water, which is not the best thing for Lunar to do. So
8
I think it's really cool.
But listen, that's not all because the high tide is here. We teased this a little bit ago, but Tsunami is coming back in full force in Moonrise with a brand new title card called Tsunami High Tide. This is an invoke room that is water and lunar that has a very powerful effect. You can change the position of up to 2 Elestrals on the field. Again, a non-targeting position change. It could be your Elestrals, your opponent's Elestrals, or a combination of both, and then you may enchant a water or lunar spirit from your underworld to your field. So not only are you able to...
This card is ridiculous. That's insane. This is basically another removal card that technically costs 1 because you're enchanting an additional card. Oh my god, that's interesting. Another thing to note is that this actually works quite well with the Bow of Artemis, because keep in mind the Bow of Artemis makes them deal piercing damage. So if you have, let's say for example, you have a galaxy on your board, you activate Tsunami High Tide, change the position of your opponent's Elestral, while your galaxy is enchanted with the bow. Tsunami can enchant a spirit, and then not only are you basically only spending 1 for the position change, you can attack in, deal piercing damage, they take 1, you go even in spirit advantage. I'm interested in this new support. I think water is really, really eating good with these cards. So water is clearly like this is obviously like the deck that focuses on changing Elestral's positions. I think water is so much better with these cards. So we've already talked about them. Schnark the boy, Schnark. To be fair, it's a 3/3. It's not the best thing in the world, but you're not really using this guy to like stick in the board. You're using this guy to search out either Rock in a Hard Place or Joblin. You can also search Tsunami with this, which is kind of very interesting. If you are able to get Joblin out into your board, it is a force to be reckoned with. You can just expend water to change the position of your opponent's Elestral, and you can just draw a card whenever an Elestral changes positions. And then obviously we have a High Tide that not only can change the position of Elestrals, it also enchants more. This card, all three of these cards are very powerful. All three cards are insanely powerful, and I expect all of them to probably be C play in either existing water decks or brand new water decks that we will see in the when Moonrise is fully out. Guys, I think these cards are really cool. I think they're really sick. We probably have some more water to go. I highly doubt we're getting 2 new water Elestrals, 3 total new water cards in here, but we'll see. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you slap the like button and subscribe for more. Hope to see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.